Hey guys, this is the second video of my new series for beginner chess coaching. I have a message from someone. He wrote, "Hey, I recently hit 1500 across all major lead chess time controls, bullet, blitz, rapid, and classical, but I'm struggling to advance from here. If you could analyze some of my games, especially in the longer time controls, that would be great." And then he gives us a link to his profile, so let's take a look at that. Okay, so this knightaj0, he's online right now actually. And okay, so let's see, take a look here. Okay, so yeah, it's 1500 everywhere. Let's take a look at his classical games. So 1500 is a pretty good player, pretty decent player. And looks like his rating is on the really good climb. Holy crap. In a couple months, he climbed like 400 points. That's ridiculous. So he's on a super climb. Incredible progress. That's amazing. So good job to him. So let's take a look at a game. Okay, let's see here. This one was just finished 15 minutes ago, 23 moves. Let's look for something a little bit longer. Where does it show the moves? 12 moves, 36 moves. Okay, it's a little bit longer. Let's take a look at this one. And he lost here. Although I just want to take a look at this guy. I'm always skeptical with provisionally rated players. This guy. Okay, yeah, let's take a look at this game. 36 moves. Okay, so rated game. 15 and 15 is the time control. I always recommend and endorse longer time controls, so that's good. Classical. Okay, so our hero was black, and he plays c6 in response to d4. Yeah, so this is he's 1569, so definitely a higher rated player. So his move's going to be a lot better here. I'm going to do this with the engine off. I don't want to be influenced by the engine's suggestions here. Okay, this is something that John Bartholomew likes. He likes developing the bishop and outside of the pawn chain. So that looks like what black did here. It's not really something that I personally do, but it looks fine to me. So I trade right away. Interesting. 97. I wonder what black's idea is here. Is it to move the knight to g6? Because obviously, you know, this move is preventing black's dark squared bishop from developing. And even a fianchetto here would seem a little weird because I mean, maybe the idea is to bring the knight over to f5. But it seems like the knight could just get kicked out fairly easily. And I'm not really sure what the knight on f5 is controlling directly, because it's not going to be able to stay there long term. It doesn't seem like a blunder to me, but it seems like a slightly of an awkward move. Let's see what the engine thinks. Yeah, engine kind of agrees. So it's like about 100 centipon difference there, or 110 centipon difference. Yeah, it's suggesting other moves. Yeah, so I think this is a little bit of an awkward move. If the idea is to go to g3, I think it's kind of wasting a tempo in a way, when you could just immediately go to knight f6, instead of, you know, moving two moves to g6, when the knight on g6 isn't even really covering anything useful. You know, like these moves, like these squares aren't really that useful to cover. This is a good square to cover, but I think just if you wanted to develop the knight, just knight f6 would be better, because you're basically wasting a tempo here. Like, you're going to have to move twice. Let's see what Stockfish thinks about my knight f6 move. Yeah, it loves it. So, and actually that's the top move in the database. So knight f6 would just make more sense here. Okay, moving on. I think taking is okay. But I think I don't know. I feel that like exchanging the pawns doesn't really help black in any way. I mean, how about worrying about your development more, like first? I mean, your bishop and knight knight, your queenside knight has not been developed yet, and you haven't castled yet. And you're also giving away a center pawn for a side pawn. So I don't really see that this is really benefiting black, but I don't think I don't think it's a mistake either. But I would probably play maybe knight g6, or maybe the fianchetto here. I think you want to be developing a minor piece or maybe castling. Let's see what Stockfish says. Yeah, it's saying the same thing. Yeah, knight g6 or g6, same thing. Yeah, but yeah, your move is not terrible. Taking the pawn, trading pawns, it's not terrible here. C5 again. I would really be focusing on simple development here of your minor pieces. You're still not castled. You don't really have any pieces developed. This is like half developed knight. And I'm not really sure the point of the c5 move, and it looks like you just dropped the piece for nothing. I guess that's actually the biggest point here. So that's a very odd move. I should mention that at this point, you drop this piece, and there's no excuse because you actually have more time now than you started with. So you're moving too quickly here. You need to be thinking about your moves more. You should almost never have more time than you started with, unless you're going through book moves. If you're going through opening theory, then it's okay, to be blitzing out the moves. But you have more time than you started with, and it's +2 for white here. So there's really no excuse for that. So you have to slow down. Use your time. Okay, but that mistake has been made, so we'll move on. Okay. Interesting. I don't hate it. But because you take away the square from your knight on b8, I don't know. I'm thinking that moving this knight somewhere else, maybe possibly to f5 or g6, maybe a better way forward. Maybe even just moving it possibly to d5. Because his queen is under attack, and then like taking here possibly. You don't really want to be trading here down a pawn though. It's hard to say. It doesn't seem like the worst move in the world, but maybe even moving to c8 is a possibility, because you can then reroute to b6. So then you could have a knight here, a knight on c6, and a knight on b6. Might be a decent setup. So not the worst move, but again, I just feel a little weird about taking a square away from your other knight. Let's see what Stockfish says. Yeah, it's liking knight d5 here. And that's the top move. Okay, turn it off again. I don't hate it. I would probably here, like still, I mean, your other pieces aren't developed. So I think I would probably develop the bishop and then castle. I mean, you are in a pin. Let's just take a quick peek at what Stockfish says. Actually, Stockfish is saying queen b6. Interesting. Yeah, it's actually... Okay, I guess this is a concern here. His knight coming in this way. So then maybe even knight d7 might be good to help stem off this knight coming in to e5, or maybe kicking out. Well, I guess we can't because this is under attack. Okay, I just noticed that. Sorry. Okay, so I guess that's why you played queen c7. I was not paying close attention there. So okay, yeah. So this pawn is under attack apparently. Okay, so I understand queen c7 now. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I understand it. Okay, not the worst move. Okay, you develop your bishop. I don't know. At first glance, it looks good. I'm not in order to not make this video like, I don't want to make these videos like 10 hours long. I'm not going to be looking for the best move every move. I'm just kind of looking at moves that stand out to me. And to me, I don't know, it seems like a decent move. Stockfish says it's not, but yeah, this that looks like a good move for white, this d5 move. Yeah, it's kind of tough here. And you can kind of see the predicament that black is in now, like, because black still hasn't castled because you haven't developed your minor pieces here. You still have a knight here, your original knight, and you haven't castled. You can kind of see that white is able to kind of start to throw pieces at you. And it's unfortunate that you lost the c pawn early on, because that would have really helped defend against this push here. So those earlier mistakes have really caught up. I'm not even sure what I would do here. It looks pretty bad for black. I don't even know if taking, maybe you have to take. I'm not sure. This kind of stands out to me. Knight b4 is a possibility. I guess you could just take though, because you're pinned. So maybe you do have to take. Yeah, this is looking really hard for black. I just going to kind of speed along here. Yeah, just and your opponent is playing pretty well at the same time. Yeah, well, okay, so apparently this is a mistake. It looks like, can you just take it freely? It doesn't look like this is a real threat, because you can just take. Yeah, this is premature, this kind of a Greek sacrifice here. Not Greeks, yeah, Greek sacrifice. Yeah, this looks like premature, because you can just take fine. His knight cannot come in here. Your bishop is defending it. You also have a rook ready to be unleashed here, and you've got other pieces close by. So hopefully you took it. Good. Yeah, so it looks okay. Maybe you're doing fine here. Yeah, so you unleash the knight. So when you have a discovered attack, you should be very privileged. You should feel very privileged. Like, you should kind of think of it as you get like a free wish. You can move your piece anywhere. So you really want to maximize that gift that you were given. Because you have this defended, your rook is defended, so you have this attack on the queen. So your knight can go anywhere. Well, it only actually has two real places where you would want to go. But you would really want to think the best move for the knight. So you played knight d4, which looks good. I mean, it's an advanced knight in the center of the board. You have some other good moves to go to. But knight e5 may be better, maybe not. So what's the difference? So with knight e5, you're now controlling these two squares. So your knight could reroute here for some safety for your king. Also the difference is your knight could actually, as your second move, could then jump over to a d3 as a possible placement, and that's just something that wouldn't have been possible with your move here. Let's see what Stockfish says. I could be wrong. So it is preferring knight e5 by a fair margin, by about 90 centipawns or so. Let's see the difference. So if we go knight d4, which is what you played, then it's recommending queen h3. But if we go here first, after queen h3, so taking this spot. So I see you can win a pawn here. So that is the better way to go. Let me turn off the engine. So that is the better way to go. So you got to look a few moves ahead there. But after white takes the pawn here, when you move the knight here, this is what you played. if white retreats, I guess he could also go here. But if white retreats, where is your knight going to go here? If you take here, white just recaptures, no problem. There's no other immediate follow-up threats by black, right? You could check here, but it doesn't do anything, right? There's nothing else. You could go here, it doesn't do anything. Okay. Now, if you had moved here, if you'd taken your time, again, you've only used like 45 seconds on move 22. So you're moving way too fast. Just slow down. But if you had moved here and looked a few moves ahead, he can't recapture or anything because his queen's under attack. So he still has to move his queen. Then you can take the knight. He recaptures. You get a free pawn. So it's moves like that can give you an immediate edge. Like it's a free pawn. It's a free pawn. Simply, because at first glance it looks like either knight move is. It looks like, okay, yeah, they look about the same. I'll just go here. But you have the time, so you should calculate here. Okay, like what's the difference? Should I why here? Why not here? Right? Well, if you go here, you get another move because he has to move the queen. You take here, you get a free pawn. So positions like this is really where you can gain some rating points because, again, the moves look roughly the same, but they're not. Knight e5 is a bit better. You win a pawn. You win a pawn. Okay, that's a very instructive point there. Okay, you take the knight here. I see a fork. So you just missed it. Let's see how long you spent on this move. It looks like you spent 7 seconds on this move. So I don't know. I miss stuff too. I won't berate you too much on this. But you really shouldn't be missing moves like that, especially when it's so close. You're one move away. So maybe you might step up on the puzzles, the tactics training a little bit more, because you really shouldn't be missing moves like this. But that was an obvious game-winning move you could have played there. Knight g6. Looks okay to me at first glance. I kind of like it. I think it's okay. I'm not going to overanalyze every move. Move the king. What are you afraid of? Okay, just want to get off of this file. I don't hate it. I don't hate the move. Although it does give, it does give white a check though. A check here, and if here, then you're getting pinned. I'm not sure if white has a good follow. Yeah, you don't want to really be doing that. It could create some real problems for you. That's the main issue that I'm seeing right now, is this check. Not sure if it's a real big problem though. You could just block with the bishop. I don't know. It seems okay. Just taking a look at what white could do here. Maybe white could attack your rook this way, and also attacking this now twice. It does look annoying, because how are you going to defend that? But then it does pin the knight there. But then he can take with check. Interesting. Let's see what Stockfish says here. I'm kind of curious. It's saying rook g1. It's not good. Here. Why is this hating it so much? Oh, and then here. And if you take with the pawn, and then it's mate. Ooh, ugly. Okay, so I guess, yeah, that's I didn't see that either. So I guess this is a problem here, because this rook cannot be left off this file because this knight is essentially hanging then. So that is interesting. That's an interesting little problem. And then it's saying the only way to rectify this is to move the king back, but then you waste a whole tempo there. Okay, but I don't know, something seemed a little weird there to me, moving the king there. I mean, you wanted to get off the file, so I totally understand it. But having this open, I was looking at that being a problem, but I guess that's not the problem. It's that trading the rooks and then taking here is the issue. But I don't think this is a huge, even though that it doesn't work because of this rook move. I like that you had the foresight to see that your king being on the same file as this rook could be a problem. Although this also shows you that never developing your knight again comes to bite you in the ass, because it hasn't moved yet, and now this is having to be babysat by that knight, by your rook. So it looks like white just drops the queen for nothing here. Hopefully you take it. You didn't take it. Ouch. So mistake after mistake. So let's see how long you spent on this move. Too fast. It looks like you spent like 5 or 10 seconds. Again, it's hard to tell because of the increment, but yeah, really, there's not too much excuse for that. That's I think, is that twice now this game that you made a mistake. Yeah, you had the fork earlier. I think it was knight e2 that you could have won the game with a fork on the queen and the king. And now here you could have just got the queen. So at 1500, you should not be making this mistake. Like, you should not be missing these moves. So you're moving a little bit too quickly and maybe not 100% focused. So I think black still has a lot of play here. You're actually up a minor piece. You're down a lot of pawns, but you're up a minor piece. You're up a bishop. You're up a bishop and down 3 pawns. So it's again equal material-wise, but 2 minor pieces are pretty good, especially when white has double pawns here. Okay, finally you develop your knight. Knight d4. I like that. Yeah, I like that you're attacking here. Looks like I'm a little bit worried about this check coming in here, because that's going to force the king to one of 2 moves. Looks like there could be some problems here. Check, and what's the follow-up? Maybe then rook takes. Yeah, that could be a problem. Let me see what Stockfish says. Because this check looks a little scary. It might not be a problem, but let's see. Yeah, that's the best move. So that kind of stands out to me. I like that I mean, it looks like a good move for the knight. Developing the knight further and getting into the enemy lines here. And it's kind of a fork on these 2 pieces. And your queen and knight are really good combination pieces. But at the same time, this is kind of, it might have been nothing, but it really, like, your king can only go one of 2 places here, and then black can take the pawns. So check. If black goes here, I'm just looking at what Stockfish says here. It says knight e5. Yeah, and so white has 3 strong pieces all enclosing in on the enemy king. And yeah, you just lose the rook here. And if you try to defend it, then he can take here, or take with the knight even. So, and then if here I was just going to take here directly. Let's see if it agrees. Yeah, same thing. And now you lose a pawn, and this is, I don't know. You still have 3 pieces, but it said it's mate in 9 for white. This thing is, white has the initiative, and he does have this. He does have this knight. I'm a little surprised that he can mate like this, but the main thing to come across from here is this. Like, you have to kind of follow up. What could your opponent do, right? Yes, this. You are attacking the queen, so he can't take here, But the other thing, like, you should have been doubly aware, because once you go here, he has to move the queen, right? So you played queen d4, knight d4. He has to move the queen, so you should have been extra aware of this check. And that's a dangerous check, as we saw. Okay, so just be a little bit more aware of that, of where white could move, and plan accordingly. So what would a better move be here for black? I would like to trade queens, but that looks a little tricky. This pawn looks a little weak because of the double pawn scenario. So maybe queen c5. I would like to maybe do something here eventually, you know, like this. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe queen c5. Your knight is in a really good position right now, actually. It's defending these squares. So queen c5, he has to defend the pawn somehow. He doesn't want to... I guess he would have to do it with... So if queen c5 now, and then the check, we have to be concerned about that still. Stockfish is recommending just knight d8 in this case. But even king f7 is different now, because the knight can't come in here anymore, because your knight hasn't moved and I can just recapture it. So, yeah. Okay, anyways, you did play knight d4. Let's see. So he did check you. So he played correctly. And he goes here, and yeah, he found the moves. Yeah, yeah. Oh, it says mate in 1 here. Is this a better way to do it? Oh, I didn't even see that. I think I looked at this, right? Is that what I looked at? Okay, so he made even the better move. Crazy. Well, I guess it's also where you moved. That's why. You kind of walked into it there. But yeah. And then it's mate there. Wow, your opponent played well there. Okay, so to recap in this game, kind of a long analysis. First of all, you're moving too fast. Slow down. You're moving way too fast. Let's see, what time did you finish the game in? 12 minutes left. You essentially only use 3 minutes, or 2.5 minutes the whole game. You're moving way too fast. Yeah, some of that is increment, but it doesn't matter. You're moving way too fast. You have 12 minutes. So you should always be using more time. You got to slow down. I already spoke about this knight move. I'm not a huge fan of that. Not the worst move in the world, but I think you wasted tempo. Excuse me, a tempo with that. And I think too, you draw. Well, first of all, this taking here, I think is unnecessary. I think you want to be developing your minor pieces. And here, this is no excuse. You just drop a pawn for nothing. You're moving too quickly. Yeah, and then this was hard because you're already down so much. Just like 13 moves in. Stockfish says it's plus 3.6 for white. So you were, if this was like at the 1900 level, you kind of lost. Well, once you moved here, this game over already. Like you cannot drop pieces, even if it's a pawn. At your level, even at 1500, you can't be dropping pawns really. You might be able to get away with it here and there, but 1500, like you're 1568 at this point. That's pretty high. You cannot be dropping pawns like this. And then I kind of like sped across here. I think you missed. Is this a game where you missed a fork? Yeah. So you miss a game. You could have won the game here. You're just moving too quick. So you could have won there with a fork. And then I think you drop your queen as well. I'm pretty sure you drop your queen. No, or no, maybe no. I'm thinking of something. I'm thinking a different game. And then just basically here. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, I hope this video helped you. This was my second video of this series. And if anyone is interested in private coaching, you can send me a message. I'm trying to subsidize my chess tournaments. So, okay. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.